Hello everybody, welcome back to Julie Z Author. I am here with a book haul. Let's jump right in. I promised you one, and I have one. I'm surrounded by books. I don't know how many, and I think there's a couple that I actually don't have here. I've got dust jackets for a couple, and then a few others on my list that I was like, I don't know where they are, or I've already unhauled them, because I have everything tracked in my LibIb, and if I've unhauled it, I don't have it in my catalog anymore, and that's how I was tracking what I was buying. I just went in and categorized it by date entered, and then anything since my last haul I have in front of me. I've been trying to be better about buying books because I'm not reading as much, but it's not great. I have them stacked in no particular order, so I'll let you know if I've read them or not, but I wouldn't count on me reading too many of these. My cat's angry because she can't get up on the desk, and this is her place to chill with me, so you might see her, you might hear her. She could get ornery. This is officially a full year's worth of book hauls. So from last December to this December, I don't think I've done as bad as in prior years. But then again, you know, I was splitting time between like book nooks, crystals, and books. So some of them I did okay with. Some of those categories I went over the top. I wanted to have these in some kind of order in terms of like genre. I don't think that's going to happen. So we're just going to start picking from these giant stacks that are like all around me. So first up, because it's sitting right here, is Not Your Crush's Cauldron. This is the third book in the April Asher Sisters series. Like, I don't know what the name of this series is actually, but it's cute. It's witchy, contemporary romance, but like contemporary fantasy romance. And April Asher is local enough. I don't know exactly where she's located, that she's been to a couple signings. So I do have the whole trilogy signed and personalized by her, which is really nice. I got all of these as ARCs and then just kind of put my annotations in after the fact. A whole bunch of Darcy Coates is going to be in here. So I've got the Fulcroft Ghosts. I think my last haul I had a couple of her books as well. I also have Hunted. These are both buddy reads with Amber, so I'm going to put them to the side and have them in a special place because these do have to go back into my buddy read pile with her. A couple of these got chosen in my like spinny wheel. I know you guys don't know about that here, but I wrapped all of my TBR books and I was spinning a wheel and then going through on Instagram and updating you on what I was reading. I've since unwrapped everything. It lasted about 6 months and I just wasn't reading enough, and actually kind of want to join some readathons to promote me and encourage me to read. So if you know of any readathons coming up, let me know. But I couldn't really join in any of them because I couldn't build a TBR because all my books were buried. Also on that buddy read list is The Mystery Writer by Solari Gentile. I've loved their other books, The Woman in the Library and After I Wrote Him. Very, very cool, like meta books and books, writers writing books kind of a situation. And I love the way that they write that. So very excited to read this one as well. And I also have The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. This is one of the pretty special editions from Barnes & Noble. And again, this is on my TBR to read with Amber, and we just haven't gotten there. I have read, I think, everything else except for one contemporary by Crystal Sutherland, and I always love their books. So I'm excited to get to these. I've got some special editions. This is To Hunt a Demon King, To Break a Demon Curse, To Wear a Demon Crown. It was a box set from Unplugged, their mystery, not a mystery, their fantasy romance like series. It was cute. This is one of the ones that I spun and got on my wheel, and I actually did read all of these. So I have the box set. It's very nice. Emily Henry's Happy Place. I know that this is divisive. Some people love it, some people hate it. I tend to really like her books, so I have high hopes, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't know. Have not read yet. I also have 8 Perfect Hours by Leah Lewis. It's a Christmas romance. I'm gonna leave this one out and hopefully get to it sometime soon. I am not a super festive person, but like, it can't be that bad, right? I have a couple books that are also in the works right now, so this will be a nice one to just kind of like leave out and get to soon. I have Katrina E. Tonks's Death is My BFF. It looks like fantasy romance or fantasy something. Almost loses her life in a robbery. Death is there. He spares her soul, makes a promise to return when she's 18 to collect it. I got it on Book Outlet. It's a Wattpad book. which doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's one of the books that they chose to publish that year. I have a couple book sleeves here that I want to get out of the way. So I have Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I've been buddy reading this with Amber. It's been slow going. Neither one of us are really loving it, but like I want to push through, you know? I am also in the middle of reading A Dark and Secret Magic by a Wallace Kinney. She's also here on BookTube, and this is her special edition unplugged book box cover. The book itself is stunning, and I'm sorry I don't have it here to show you. It's downstairs on the couch in my little reading hole, and I'm really enjoying it. Again, Halloween themed, so hoping to finish that and then jump into that wintry one. I just haven't been reading a ton, so I'm really enjoying it. I just pick up a book and then I never finish stuff. It's not a great thing to be doing, but that's what I'm doing apparently. I was still doing an Australian-based book box, Fabled Co. So this one was in that box. It's I Fucking Hate That I Love You by D.L. Galley. I don't know anything about it. It came in the subscription. Also, The Night Thieves by R.E. Bond also came from them. Like, beautiful, they're gorgeous editions. Like, they're very pretty. I just don't really know anything about them. I've since canceled that because it's insanely expensive to pay for shipping from there, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I also have Ruby Rose House of Crimson Hearts. This is a queer sapphic vampire story. I got this with their Kickstarter. It's beautiful. It comes with a signed plate, but I think it's also signed. Yeah, it's also signed on the inside. Has artwork in here that I'm not sure I could show you because it's very spicy. So there's really cool artwork inside. It's feuding vampire hunters, you know, tale as old as time, but I really enjoyed it. I have The Courting of Bristol Keats. This is a Mary E. Pearson book. I got it because the first printing is very, very pretty. And I like Mary E. Pearson's. I've read her Remnant Chronicles. I did not continue with Dance of Thieves and Val of Thieves, but figured I would give this one a go. And she's been saying that she's like the new queen of fairy. So I'm assuming this is a fae book. I don't know anything about it. I just know I like her writing and it was pretty. So I got it. Some book of the month. I got Heartless Hunters. Didn't love it. Did read it. Have that now. I have Phantasma, yeah, by Kaylee Smith. Kristen Sigarelli wrote The Heartless Hunter. So this one is like the 7 layers of hell, but also fantasy romance, but also horror. I don't know. Have not read. I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Were indie, went, tried, picked it up. Haven't read it. Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I know Callie Hart's name. I have not read this. I know that a lot of people love it. I don't know if this is the indie cover or if this is the official cover, like the new, because she got picked up too. No, this is her indie cover still, I think. There is artwork in this one. So I picked that one up. I have Curves for Days by Laura Moher. This one is one that Amber gave to me for Christmas. We did like a blind book kind of like gift to each other. I got A Far and Wilder Magic because somebody at my in-person book club recommended it. And I was like, heck yeah, I will go for that. It's by Alison Saft. It's a magical, secret, mythical hunt and a love that could risk everything. It looked really cute. I liked the cover. Then we went for a whole bunch of Pango book, which my Pango, I just put a whole bunch more on there. So that's listed down below if you're interested in what I'm getting rid of. But I have A Discovery of Witches, Shadow of Night, Book of Life, and then their new one, which is Times Convert. Yeah, Times Convert. Read the 3 of these and liked them. I know a lot of people don't. I enjoyed them. So read these, liked it, didn't read this yet. Don't know if I want to reread before I read this, but I got them all because I think maybe I do. So we'll see if that happens. Encyclopedia of Fairies by Emily Wilde and Map of Other Lands. Read this. It was slow, but like I liked it. It was very atmospheric, so like was still into it enough to get this one. I think there's now a 3rd one out. I obviously don't have it, but read one, didn't read one. Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Sean McGuire. This is usually my first read of the year. Every single year is her new one. And this year was no different. This was my first read of the year, and I always love them. Are they all perfect? No. Some of them I like more than others. Wasn't a big fan of Across the Green Grass Fields, but, you know, in general, really like them. Have I now purchased on Kickstarter. I'm gonna leave it linked down below in case I get this up in time, but there is a Kickstarter for Sean McGuire. It's an omnibus of the first 3 books. It's stunning. I did already get it. It's already funded, so it's definitely gonna happen. And I think there's still like 20 some days left as filming this, so I'll try to film, like edit this and get it up quickly in case you're interested in the Kickstarter, because I will always buy whatever from Sean McGuire. Like I'm a sucker for it. I got Rebecca Ross's Ruthless Vows because I did read the first book, Divine Rivals. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, but I got the second book. Haven't read it. I got A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed because it's beautiful. That like dark academia study book related book. Didn't like it, but I did annotate it. So now it's mine forever, question mark. I've read all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as well as The Hobbit. So this is a bind-up, an omnibus of all 3 of the books. That is a special edition. The bookmark is down on the bottom. I have not opened it. The cover has like the hole in the middle for like Sauron's eye. There's a map on the inside, but it's beautiful. There's artwork on the inside. It's very well made and very, very pretty. But I got it more as just a shelf piece because I have read the series. I have multiple copies of the series because I love it. I got Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott. Haven't read it, but I bought it. I think I was going to buddy read it with Amber. We have not yet. Sleep Tight by J.H. Markert. J.H. Markert. It was a thriller. I don't remember anything about it, but I read it. I also have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. Have not read this one yet. I try to read all of their books when they come out. Some of them I love, some of them I hate. We're going to see how I feel about this one. I also got The Wedding People by Alison Espech. I have very high hopes for this one. This is one that I wasn't really sure about, but picked up because it looked like it was going to be cute. And then I think it won like a Goodreads award. I don't pay attention to Goodreads, but I think it did. So that's a thing that I own now. I have The Madness by Dawn Kurtagich. This is her adult debut. She usually puts out YA horror, and I really like her writing style. I like her as a person and as an author. Didn't love this. I did pre-order it, so I got a signed book plate and some merch and like all the bookmarks and artworks and stuff. So yeah, I got that from her because I'll always support Dawn Kurtagich. Like beautiful end pages. I just appreciate her as a person, which this one I did get through her, directly through her website. This was a self-pubbed second book to Teeth in the Mist, which is like a really cool book. It's the like upside down girl. It was like all the rage on BookTube a while back. So this is her indie pubbed second book. So the sequel that fans wanted, but like publishers didn't. So she put it out herself. So I did get this one. Again, she sent like a handwritten note that came with it, a whole bunch of artwork that came with it, and a book plate. And yeah, it's really cool. It's got her same like mixed media style, and I enjoyed it. I didn't like it as much as Teeth in the Mist, but it was good. Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. Enjoyed it. It was fine. I've been in like a horror kick, so you know, it worked. I also have One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. This is a woman of color who writes horror, and I absolutely love them. Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. Read this one. This is a like bind up of short stories. As is Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates, another bind up of short stories. I don't think there's any overlap, so I like made out there, but I did have like a Darcy Coates binge where I just read a whole bunch of her stuff, and these were easy ones to do since they were just short stories. I buddy read The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kist. This one I buddy read with Amber and Jess over at the Hext Library, and we really liked it. We got on StreamYard and all read together and like stopped every so often to talk about things. I annotated a whole bunch, and it was a good pick. Since then, we haven't had the best luck picking them, but you know, it's okay. I also got We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. Who knows? I got this because it was supposed to be the closest that anybody had gotten to House of Leaves yet. I don't think it is that, but it is good. It is sapphic. It's about a couple that moves into a house, and then a guy shows up with his family saying that he used to live there, and could he come in and show his family around the house a little bit. And these two women are just moving in and fixing it up and everything, and they let this family in, and then they never want to leave, and then what happens from there. It was really interesting. I did like it. It wasn't a perfect book, but like, that's fine. And not even like comparatively to House of Leaves, which I adore, but just like in general, it was good. It wasn't like fantastic, but it was good. The House Next Door by Darcy Coates. This is one of hers that I have not read yet, so I have that to read. Under This Red Rock by Minnie McGinnis. As an author, I enjoy her works, and this one was good. It's always very feminist and female ragey, and I appreciate that, so did enjoy. Once Upon a Broken Heart and the Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is like the follow-up to her Caraval series, which a ton of people don't like. I enjoyed just fine at the time that I was reading it as like a mindless read, and this is what comes after that. I got Scorch Atlas because this is another one of those epistolary novels. This one I think you're supposed to burn when you're done reading it. It's a whole bunch of like short little things. It's a weird sized book, but again, it's supposed to be one of those epistolary things that's just really interesting to read. Bats of the Republic, because it's also supposed to be very epistolary and combined mixed media. Could I tell you a single thing about it? No, I couldn't. But I was in a mood, and this is the kind of book that I wanted. I have read neither of them, but I'm very excited to read both of them. So at some point, I can. An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, because it just looked badass, quite frankly. I really liked this cover. I think since then I've seen a paperback that I liked more, but this is what I have now. One of us was always going to bleed for the other. I'm here for something dark, angsty. I don't know if this is vampire-y. I don't know if it's even fantasy. It didn't matter. I wanted it. I got Matt Haig's The Invisible Life. Have I read The Midnight Library? No, I haven't. I have it, have not read it. So I have no idea if I even like this guy's writing, but apparently I picked this up on Book of the Month because I think I had a credit for my birthday, and I was just like, nah, I'll pick it up. We've got a whole bunch of thrillers here now, like a lot. Christina Henry, Good Girls Don't Die. I like Christina Henry's retellings. I've read her Lost Boys ones, like the Peter Pan retelling one. I have her Little Red Riding Hood retelling, haven't read it yet. And then this one I don't think is one of her retellings, but I just like her horror. I like her writing style, so we'll see how that one goes. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. Again, this was supposed to be one of those like really creepy books, kind of House of Leaves-y, very like immersive reads. Frida McFadden has been taking over. Everybody's talking about her. I have not read her, so I picked up Never Lie. Why? Because from afar, in my blurred vision, I thought that was a typewriter. It is not. It is a sofa. It doesn't matter. This is apparently where I'm starting. The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter and Andrew Sullivan. I don't know a thing about it. It was a creepy cover. It looked like it could be scary. Nick Cutter, I think, wrote the one where like the boys go hiking, right? The Troop. And I know a lot of people thought that was really creepy, so I figured I'd give that one a go. This one looks super creepy. I'm going to try it. Again, it's a horror. Couldn't really tell you very much about it outside of that, but this one, I think it's Irish. Yeah, Irish Village. And it's like, if you believe in the superstitions, then they're real. That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This is about a girl who is found, but like her name isn't what she thinks her name is, and she isn't who she thinks she is. So like maybe she was kidnapped younger in life and then kidnapped again as an adult and has to figure out who the heck she is. Any Man by Amber Tamblyn. I don't really know much about it, except that she tends to write very feminist, ragey kind of stuff. Shocking narrative of victims of sexual violence maps destructive ways in which society perpetuates rape culture. So this one switches it, and I think the woman is a serial rapist and the guys are the ones being victimized, and how the world kind of like treats them versus the way they treat women. I don't know, but I'm here for it. Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I don't know, but I picked it up. Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, because the cover, it looks really cool. This is going to be a buddy read with Jess and Amber at some point. Don't know when. We've got Dearest by Jackie Walters. Creepy little kid on the cover. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Didn't hate this one, so that was nice. He's very, very hit or miss for me. And even when I like them, there's still a component of them that bothers me, but this one I did like. Quick little camera overheat, but I only have 2 more books, so we're gonna jump into these ones and finish it up. I also have No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. This is her second adult novel. I love everything that she writes, whether it's her YA horror or her adult novels. I haven't done her middle grades yet, but I know people who have and have enjoyed them. But I love her writing in general. So another win. I did get an arc of this. I annotated it lightly, but I did have that. So the last book that I have is one that I'm keeping specifically for last because I wanted to talk about it a little tiny bit because it's weird. Guys, it's weird. Subcutaneous by Aaron A. Reed. This is by far the coolest, strangest book I've ever read. And I don't know how to truly explain it. This is probably the closest that I've ever gotten to a House of Leaves type book. This is a story where there are thousands and thousands and thousands of seeds. So the author for this wrote a ton of different options. They formatted all of these different scenarios that could potentially happen in this book and then randomly generates those situations. So it's like a choose your own adventure, except you don't get to choose. Each book is just different. So if you get this book from Amazon, all of the Amazon copies are the same. If you get it from Barnes & Noble or somewhere else, all of those copies are the same. However, if you get it from their website, you get an individual specific book. So nobody else in the world has this particular book. Amber got one and I got one. We were able to buy them as a pair and ask that they be as different as possible. So within this seed printing, they're as separate as you can get or as different as you could. So we sat down to try to buddy read this, but it's very, very hard to buddy read because some of the changes are very nuanced and very small. So like in my book, he gets stupid drunk. In her book, he had like one drink and then goes home. In my book, when he fights with his roommate, it's like very violent and over the top. In her book, it was very calm. In my book, he makes a call to one person, and in her book, he makes a call to a different one. But it changes the narrative and the way that the book is structured. In this story, there is a house. In the house, there's a room under the bed, and then from that room is hallways and doors that lead on forever and ever and ever and ever. And they're exploring these hallways, which again, very House of Leavesy. What we ended up doing was reading this book aloud. I would read a chapter, Amber would read a chapter, and I'd read along in my book, and she would read along in hers, and we would let each other know where the differences were. It was wild, wild. I do recommend doing it that way, just because it's really cool to see. I think it would be really neat to read the book in general, just straight through on your own, but as a buddy read, seeing how the little tiny shifts in character or direction really influence the story was really, really neat. When we got to the end, the big finale kind of climax, we couldn't even go back and forth. I just read the end of my book and then she read the end of hers because they were very different. At the end of this, it does tell you like about this copy, the main differences about this specific copy. So I will read the first little bit of it here. It says, "The book you're holding is unique. There is no other exactly like it. Each printing of Subcutaneous is different. This is the one and only version generated from seed number 44685. Words, sentences, or whole scenes may appear in some printings that do not appear in others. No two copies are alike, but all of them are the same story, more or less. Don't worry about what's in the other versions. They don't matter. This is the one you have. This is the one that's happening to you." My book was like 10 pages shorter, I think, than Amber's. It was a really cool, really wild ride. It's just an experience. It's a very immersive, really cool experience. So I did want to point that one out because it was really neat. I've just been on the hunt for like these really unique reading experiences, and I found a couple, have a couple more in my TBR. But that is all the books that I have purchased in the last year, since last December. There were probably a couple that I bought that I have since like unhauled right away. I'm not gonna worry about those because again, they weren't memorable enough to stick around. And I will do a reading like wrap up at the end of the year. I don't know what else I'm gonna finish before the end of the year, but all of my DNFs and unhauls will be in that one. So if you're interested in what I bought this past year that I didn't include in the haul, they'll be in that video coming up soon. Let me know if there's anything on my TBR that you have not read yet that you suggest I get to right away. Let me know if you have anything else that's like really unique and immersive and House of Leavesy. I'm here for it. I truly enjoy this kind of a reading experience. I'm gonna go try to figure out how all of this goes back on my bookshelves. Not gonna be easy, not looking forward to it. So thanks for watching. Leave me a comment down below if you made it this far. Let me know what your favorite of this bunch was. But that's gonna be it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to click the like button, subscribe, stick around for a little while, because I'm back, baby. I'll see you later. Bye, friends.